Hi guys, welcome to Travel with Austin. I'm Austin. Today we are in Ohio and we are going to be exploring an abandoned church. Now to start off, we're going to start off in the basement / auditorium area and work our way up. So at the very bottom area here, we have the old electronics / maintenance room. As you can see, it's a little bit flooded right now due to all the rain Ohio's been getting, but it's not super flooded. But we're still not going to get ourselves wet over that. And then here is the auditorium itself. It's very big, so we're going to go ahead and explore it. Let's start off here and look at the side rooms. So this in here was an old storage room. Smells terribly like mold in there, which the rest of this place, other than the graffiti, is decently clean and doesn't smell bad. So it does look like we have a kitchen back here. Of course, all the equipment is gone and ripped out. We do have a Deb Jr. tag right there, who is quite popular among these parts. And then just some rooms off to the side in here. Not much going on in them. Ooh, this one smells bad too. There's a hole in the floor in this one. But yeah, it does look like this would have been the kitchen area. So let's go ahead and go out into the actual auditorium. You can see it is actually a very massive auditorium. They could fit a lot of people in here, and I'm sure that this is probably like where a youth group would do stuff. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like community events were held in here too. So let's go ahead, and I haven't been on the stage yet, but everything in here is so good in sound that I'm going to trust it. Ooh, that's a nice old-fashioned clock. And some graffiti that says Real Evil Church. Maybe this church has a history I'm not aware of, but I think it's a pretty nice church overall. And look at that. Deb Jr. again. So, okay, we are going to be a bit careful because there is water leaking on it, but I think we'll be good up here just for a few seconds to take a look. We have those hollowed out rooms. Looks like a backstage area there. We're not going to go there just because all that water right there could compromise the wood. But here is looking out. That little overhang kind of ruins the view a little bit right above you. Yeah. Oh yeah, we love character and mold. I do love these lights up here, which are like the normal light bars, but then it looks like they have a circular light in the middle. That's pretty neat. This is just unfortunate. Like, I'm sure it's load bearing, but it would block some of your view. Oh look, Deb Jr. So now we're going to make our way upstairs into the main chapel area. So this leads up to what would have been the front entrances. So when you came in through the front doors, this is the area you would come into. Nice wood paneling and stuff in here. And then you would walk in to the chapel area. And honestly, this is still so grand. But I have to imagine when it was in use, it was much grander. I love the roof here. I love the curvature. I love the blue. It just looks really good. Now we do have an old organ here. It has been completely ripped apart. And actually the pipes for the organ have been completely removed and scrapped. Not sure if that was done by the owners or more likely by scrappers. Now, you can see here, we do have the confessional booth. So, you could sit in here, and I'm not super familiar with confessional booths, but I think it is weird that this has like 3 in a row, right? Because sound could travel between them. So that's very interesting to me. I'm wondering And these over here as well. See, these look like everything I would think a confessional booth is, but with how many there are just for this one church, I'm second guessing myself. This probably was part of a baptismal pool. You can see it's been broken and turned upside down. I think that is the base, and that is probably the actual basin. So, once again, just absolutely beautiful chapel area. Looks like there was probably a chandelier there at one point and is now gone. And there's lots of stuff stored in here. Some of it, like the pews, are church stuff, but most of it is like random file cabinets. These tables that kind of remind me of the lunch tables that we had in middle school. Old chairs and stuff like that, and desks. So that's kind of interesting stuff. Now, off to the sides of each part of this chapel, there are these little altars with symbols on them. I will say this one is not as interesting as the one on the other side that we will see. And here is, the main stage area. It may be hard to see on camera, but they have like the hand of God reaching down on the middle of that wooden piece up at the top. Unfortunately, the actual altar that was in here has been ripped out, which is quite interesting to me. I wonder if when this place was abandoned, if they were moving churches and they decided that they wanted to take the altar with them. But really, I think this church is beautiful and honestly should still be used. So, now here is where the pastor or priest would have their office. Again, I really like the wood paneling in here. There is some carpet here on top of the tiles. You can see it's kind of getting beat up a lot. Yeah, presumably this is where the priest / pastor would have had his office. And you can see there is the exit right out to where the altar would be. But there's also an entrance off to the side. I do notice that one doesn't seem to have like a door handle / lock on it. I guess this one also doesn't have a lock on it. It does, have a doorknob though. So this altar has a much cooler symbol on it. It is a sword being wrapped around by, I assume, fire. Could be tree branches too, who knows. Definitely looks like fire though, and I think this is sick. I think this is a really cool symbol, really cool design. Does remind me of something from a video game though. And here would be one of the side entrances. And this is the side entrance that, of course, goes directly to the pastor's office. You can actually see some of the bricks here. Now, back over on this side, because I did this in a weird order, we will actually have another set of stairs that goes back down to the auditorium and leads to the doors of the auditorium that go directly outside. But what we are here for is for these little offices and restrooms. So first of all, this ladder leads up to the bell tower. Unfortunately, I will not be climbing it because, as you probably know, I do not like heights. Little office room up here with some stained glass. Yeah, this place doesn't have as much stained glass as I wish it did, but it does have a little bit. Then, again, more office area here. I believe this was a bathroom, but it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to get it open. Now, this walkway here, as you can see, is unfortunately boarded up. But this leads to the old rectory for the church, which was a later addition. Unfortunately, we are not gonna be able to see it since it is all boarded up. And even all the outside entrances are, which I will say, quite weird given how easy it is to just walk up to this church and walk inside. As you guys saw in the video earlier, the doors are wide open. Now finally, to end our video, we're gonna go ahead and give you a view from the very top of the balcony. So let's go ahead and make our way over here. Unfortunately, we do have to walk over this door. And now we're gonna make our way to the very top. And of course, you've been able to see all the graffiti throughout this video. This is a well-trafficked place. It's still in overall pretty good condition. So here is our view from the top. And it's just a great view. I do really enjoy the ceiling in here. It's not as ornate as the church that we explored in Columbus, which if you haven't seen that video, you should check that out. It is a gorgeous church. But this is also a very beautiful church. And then off to the sides here, this is where the pipe system for the organ would have been, but as you can see, everything was removed and scrapped, which is pretty unfortunate unless it was the actual owners who did it, but it rarely ever is. Yeah. So anyway, this is the beautiful blue church located in Ohio. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. And hey, I'll see you guys next time with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.